animal sciences university, whose expertise lies in many areas like climate change, ecophysiology, ecology, and evolution. Thank you.
Is this okay? Good afternoon. I'm Girsh Varma. Where is that recorder? Right, okay, sure. So there is some stick or something like that, you can manage. Not that particular. Anyway, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, gurus from all over the world. I'm happy to be with you this afternoon. Still remember 1997, February 11th, I landed in the United Kingdom to join as a doctoral student, PhD student in the renowned Rosalind Institute. You might have heard of the Dolly, cloning of sheep, the first cloned sheep. So while I was entering Rosalind Institute, it was all with BBC crew, all around Ian Wilmot and all great scientists doing a great job in the physical advancement of the science. So at that time, 17 years back exactly, so I was totally admiring the physical advancement of science, the physical basis of science, and the physical courage and straightforwardness of science. So I was really excited. So as our Hari sir was suggesting, he says that the making of a person, making of institutions, etc., it should be following the principle of Panchabhuta, starting with Akash, the sky, the dream, idea, and it slowly transcends to wind, the Vayu, then blows with energy as Agni. Yes, sir. And then slowly flowing, taking shape as fluid or water, then finally leaving and form as earth. So at that time, I was totally dispensing all possibilities of anything, all Bhutas except earth. I was totally believing in the physical advancement or the scope of science. But just after completing my PhD, I could slowly recognize that what I lacked could be the element of sky, the imagination. And when I was more involved with the climate change studies at the international, national or state level, I'm more aware that I have to take a traverse right from earth to sky. Maybe for me, the path is actually backward, something backward. So now I am walking or studying to walk from earth to sky. I badly missed the sky in my professional life, which I am recapitulating with you in this one. So in brief, that's the place where I am belonging to. In case of science, in case of philosophy, anything like that. Okay. Now I'm talking just a very objective thing like climate change, which is a reality. Next one. So as we all agree, climate, please, just next one. Right. I can manage. Okay, thank you. So climate change has been certain from yesterdays, yesteryears, decades. And still it is a reality. And it would be more imposing for tomorrow. So we have to start with that axiom. Now, geographical basis of climate or climate change. I'm not elaborating on the physical aspects, but just I wanted to emphasize the point that some people, including the national heads of developed countries, they argue that even if human interventions or anthropogenic reasons are there, it is all nothing to do with the actual climate change. It's all happening due to the nature. So just imagine the scales of nature which is causing the climate and the climate change. It is billions of years or thousands of years at least. But for the last 100 years, the accumulation of greenhouse gases and the extreme deviation from the normal is our responsibility. No one can escape from that. Again, I have to say that this is the philosophical basis of your science, your physical science. That is the point where I am standing with you, just sharing some ideas from the physical world on the path to the philosophical world. Right? So this is actually, it's all commonplace. Earth's orbit, because this is not totally circular one. It's a elliptical one. So sometimes the Earth is moving away from Sun, and some other time it is moving near one. And the axis is 23.5 degrees. So it is always distributing the solar energy in such a way that the poles, the equator, and different regions will have different experience of solar radiation. And definitely it can cause climate change, etc. That is true. Yes, next one. So actually this has caused the establishment of the flora and fauna, including many of us, right from algae or microbes, even virus, I don't know, microbes, bacteria, then plants, animals, and then including we. So it's a process, it's a natural process. And human evolution and migration pattern also depends on that climate and climate change, climate establishment. Now, what are major effects of climate change? I'm talking much on the physical aspects right now. See, this is the shifting in global temperature and precipitation. Precipitation means snowfall or rainfall. It has changed. Now, melting ice caps and glaciers at polar regions. That also has happened. Again, earlier time there was no pole, there was no pole ice. It was all hot over the surface of the earth. So it was not inhabitable. But later the earth cooled down, allowing more ice to be formed at the polar region, and then only the starting of flora and fauna came, and humans were more comfortable with the changing or cooling the earth surface. But later it has reversed a little. So just if it does rain today and if it does not tomorrow, that is not a climate change. Actually, it's actually total baseline deviation in all the parameters you consider. If you experience over a period of time, then you call it a climate change. It's not a weather change or weather event. Now the third one, the ocean current patterns resulting in tropical climate change, etc. This is the basic pattern. Now, the major issues we have to face is actually the GHG emission, greenhouse gas emission. It is nothing but just a ceiling over the surface of the earth or of this atmosphere, which does not allow the reflection and going back of the radiation. So radiations come back to the earth, giving us more stress to live. That is a simple idea of GHG. And then the socio-economic development, definitely increasing population, number, migration, etc. This will complex the idea or the issues. And then mitigation and adaptation strategies which we have. So we are thinking something about the strategies of mitigation and adaptation. So I'll come to that point later. Now, why climate change is a global issue? Obviously, melting glaciers, as I have indicated earlier, rising in sea level, and Kerala itself has been warned of having 3 districts affected, Ernakulam, Alappuzha and Kollam, by 2050, some 26 years after. Some of the districts will be inundated. It will be sea, including my wife's family house. It's going to be under sea. It's going to be reality. So people have to do action. So it's not philosophy. It's not dream. It's a reality. Yes. Then the frequent heat waves, then drought, then competition for resources, including land and water, especially fresh water. It's going to be very critical. And then disruption and uprooting of human communities, that also has happened earlier. The desertation in Thar and the Asian countries, Middle Asia, it has happened earlier. So human migration and civilization detour all things are possible with climate change. So such a big issue, and disrupting, uprooting human communities and aggravating the current conflicts, obviously. And ocean also. Actually, ocean is considered to be a carbon dioxide sink. Almost 40% of the carbon dioxide emanated will be shifted to oceanic water. But how long it can hold? And again, it causes acidification of ocean and threat to the oceanic life, oceanography, etc. So it's a long pending issues are there on the list in the store. And impair of oceoecobiology, yes. And how climate change is a threat to peace. Now, normally, so as my elder speaker has told, okay, actually, what is the opposite of peace? Opposite of peace is actually war, yes. But what about a disease? That's also against peace. What about a disaster? That's also against peace. And what about say, drought, migration? All these are. So as he has rightly suggested, it is not simply avoidance of the clashes. More than that, more than a war, more than a man-made war, these are going to be the real issues which we have to face. We have to have answers. Yes. And loss of livelihood, climate-related disasters, and forced migration, displacement, all these are facing. We have to have answers. We have to address or start addressing. Now, Earth's orbit, rotation. Okay, these are all just, again, I am just repeating. And the next one is the most one. Heat trapping greenhouse gases at the top, disallowing dissipation of heat from the Earth's surface. And again, ocean effect, which is acting as the carbon sink. Now, what is the role of GHG? Again, I have to say, global warming is mainly due to the anthropogenic GHG emissions. Whatever Trump says, or similar national head says, so he says that it's a natural process, man has nothing to do, just enjoy. No, that is not the situation. Over the last 100 or 120 years, it has really happened, and GHG has gone much to our expectations. It is going to have issues, real issues today, tomorrow. Even our, the wildlife conflict, an elephant killing, this one, all these are your direct issues where we have to have an answer. We cannot wait to have symposium like that. Of course, we have to have symposium, as I have suggested. We have to start with the sky, Akash. But then we have to have a route up to the earth. We have to have an answer. Yesterday, a man, or day before, an elephant has killed. So we have to have an answer from this session. Unless you have that answer, you don't have a say in your listen. So your policy has to change, your issues have to change, your view has to change. So before that, you have to have pondering, the strong pondering of your expectations, your dreams, and your philosophy. Yes, that's the point I am emphasizing. And actually, per capita, this carbon dioxide equivalent, 1990 to 2023, just in 2022. Actually, it is 6.24 ton carbon dioxide equivalent to almost 6.67 ton. It's a huge one. And it is causing almost 0.4 degrees Celsius increase in the average temperature, global temperature. It's not silly. It's not a dream or just, it's a reality. And per capita, and again, I have to emphasize this point also. I say that this is politics or geopolitics, whatever you call. The per capita, this emission in US average per person, it is 6.5 tons carbon dioxide equivalent. That is the global average. And US accounts for almost more than double. More than double. And of course, I don't know, I'm not going to elaborate that one. In India, we are responsible for less than half of the global one. So definitely lifestyle implies. Lifestyle is important. We have to say, yes. And then, in other words, so in economic terms, just imagine 10% or less of the most richest persons living on the earth, causing more than half of the GHG emission for the whole world. have it to keep mum. Have it to keep mum. See, this is the science, and this is the issue where we have to have an answer through science, through deliberation, through speaking, through such forums. So that's my hope. That's why I'm hopefully here with you. So just some tips, just on the iceberg, as you know, tip of the ice, just like that. So these are some suggestions where we can reduce, or we can think or propose to reduce this one. One is serve the energy at home, or save energy at home. Try to avoid unwanted energy expenditure, whether it is air condition, whether it is fan or anything like that, just reduce. And even see electrical bulbs to LED bulbs, so much. All these come in that list. It's a big one. And change the source of energy rather than the thermal energy. No, luckily, state of Kerala has got a very environmentally eco-friendly hydroelectric projection, because there is no burning of fossil fuels. So we have. And think about solar, and also think about wind, and even waves, etc. So these are the alternatives. Rather than fuel, the emission from the fossil fuels, we may have to think about alternate sources, including electrical ones for transportation. Yes, this is one. So reduce your demand, reduce your consumption to the extent possible, then reuse anything to that, the maximum possible level, repair your things rather than just throwing it and trashing and then getting another one, then recycle. So this is the common mantra. Now, try to walk, bike, or use public transport, or even electrical vehicles. Promote that. I'm talking about the government policies. So where we have to have recommendations, and scientists have to have recommendations, then only policy makers can have a path. Yes. And compact travel. Even think about less international travels within the continent, within the country, and within your village travel. And if not avoided, just think about once in 5 years also an international tour or something like that. Think about that. So we have to have that wisdom with us. Now, eat more vegetables. So that's also another one. The major argument is that the biological energy to build 1 kg of human meat, not for consumption, 1 kg of human mass is almost several folds, 10,000 or 1 million times more than the energy spent for 1 kilogram of rice or 1 kilogram of microbes. So that means you are just spending the natural energy or biological energy to produce 1 human. So we are very costly animals. So you have to have the responsibility. So in that term, no, not for any other norm or just like that. So go for vegetables, because the cost of production, energy cost of production is much less for that one. That is a major reason. And there are many other added advantages. Okay, I'm not elaborating, but this is a major philosophy behind that argument. Then, less waste in food. Again, I have to say that if you compare developed countries and developing countries, in developing countries, typically India, Sri Lanka, and many other Asian countries, we have issues of wasting of our food at the pre-processing level. 70 to 80%, to my surprise or to your surprise, it is actually happening. 70 to 80% of the fruits and vegetables are being wasted in collection, in processing, in marketing, etc. So it is being lost. But in developed countries, especially in US, after processing, he is just simply throwing out. See, better you think about a small masala dosha, where you can just afford, have your, satiate your hunger. Take 3 or 4 masala dosha at a time. Don't waste. So that is a major issue in developed countries, but we have to think about not only the milk production, we have to have milk processing plants and milk marketing systems. Otherwise, there is no meaning. So equally, we have to consider animal products, plant products, etc., their preservation, their actual processing, so that the wastage is reduced. So both ways, you have to have the pre-prepared and post-prepared food. You have to preserve and avoid wastage. Now, native plants or native animals also. I have to say one more thing. If you just imagine, of course, there are history. We in Kerala, we brought rubber, tapioca, many things from Brazil. Yes. But there is an issue in that one. So suppose you just take a tree. A tree is actually an ecosystem. So many birds are there, so many insects are there, and once it is cut down, microbes are going to act upon that one, and it is going to be a big biodiversity system, though you are not appreciating it. Or, of course, we also, as a microbial system, as an ecosystem, but a plant is definitely yes. So, think about a plant who is inured to your soil condition, your environmental condition. So, it will be hosting more birds, more insects, more microbes, etc. Suppose you bring a plant from other continent. So, microbes have issues, because if you take a food from outside, normally you have stomach upset. What is the issue majorly? Your microbes, the stomach microbes are not conditioned to deal with the food. It is not the problem of the food actually. It is your microflora. So actually, you think about wisely how you can introduce a plant. So try to preserve your plants, and that is the important place where we have to have emphasis on Ayurveda. Ayurveda, our own spices system, our own plant system, and different this one. So ensuring biodiversity, let us keep that. And in inevitable conditions, you can think about inviting another one, including cattle, sheep, plants, rice, anything, etc. Better go for the daisy, the indigenous ones. Yes, it's a very big value. And then, and this is the last one I have to have, speak, speak, speak. This is the place where we are speaking. I am speaking to you. I have heard you speaking, and better you speak sensibly, so that we will have a common system of understanding, common philosophy, common basis. So just simply say that, see, elephants, I am just giving from my own, since I am from a veterinary side. So people used to transport elephants in lorries or trucks. Who says that is safe for the elephants? That is ensuring their welfare? Who says? There is no study at all. Whom you have to ask? Is this the judge of the district or judge of the high court who has to decide that the animals have to be transported in trucks? Who says? Who has the authority to say? Because it is animal scientists, they have to say. And many other things are, it's all empirically taken for granted. It's not the way we have to accept things. So you have to have your paradigms of experiments. You have to ask yourself whether this is right or not. How? Why? And then you have the answer, and you just tell it this one. Of course, it is very hard job. Hard job. It's a hard job. As I told, so yesterday one person has been killed, but you have to have solid answers, solid experiments with solid paradigms. Then only you can recommend, rather than going for empirical ones, and today it fails, tomorrow it succeeds, day after tomorrow it again collapses. Rather than that, you have to have a scientific basis about your philosophy. So sky has to have a sky's order and justification ending up to the earth. Sky has to know that there is something called as wind, there is something called as fire, then water and earth. And earth also has to think that there is something called as sky, all these things. So in conglomeration, in unity, it means something. If you want to separate your ear specialist, eye specialist, etc., you will end up in trouble. So definitely this is the time, this is the forum we have to have where we can speak, we can share things, and then take up the mission further forward. This is what I have, a small thing to tell you, to communicate, to share here. So nice that you have heard, and maybe just it's open. If you have queries or just clarifications, I'm happy to answer. Just I have to get the permission of the organizers if you don't mind. And if there is question, I'm happy. Sir.
No. Mr. Varma, I don't have a question, but I have an add-on statement. First of all, I congratulate for you for the excellent disposition about the climate changes, nature, and all where we are living. In conclusion, I have got an add-on. Let us learn to live a minimalistic life. That's the message. And try to love and understand and care nature. That's the add-on.
Great. Yes, sir. Please.
I am Muthukuma from Chennai. I want you to explain to me about the introduction of the electric vehicles. They are supposed to be green energy and things like that.
Right.
But at the same time, I think there is a lot of safety aspects in there.
Yeah.
So I want you to clarify on that, whether it is really worth.
You would be giving explanations.
No.
No. And actually, see, he was asking me what about the disadvantages or the pros and cons of electrical vehicles. Of course, definitely this is also another issue. Even solar energy, some materials or some cells which we are using in solar energy, there is an issue of disposing them. And now the technology is on for finding better batteries or better cell system where we can have easy disposal. And in same way, electrical vehicles also are there. So I'm talking about a trend. Maybe in the due course, you may have your own trammels coming in between. So you have to solve the issues there and there. So there is no permanent issue for anything permanent. So it can change. So the idea is that you have to be solely dynamic and you have to be open with your eyes and ears open to this one. So a solution which you arrive today may not be sufficient to give your answer next time. So always it is your conscience. That's why we say that meet, speak. So with this conclave, it is not the end. Next year we may have to sit again and come with a new issue and discuss, deliberate, and then go further. There is no end. But again, as I understand, electrical vehicles also have major issues in their battery system. And there is a disposal issue in that one. So where do you dump these batteries at the end this one? So science is trying, or technology is trying to tame those batteries also. So avoiding earlier ones, and they are shifting to the new varieties. But still, even people are trying to make the photosynthesis, just like a leaf does photosynthesis for them. But it's a long process. Now economically it's not viable. But maybe within another 10, 15 years, or maybe some magical thing, it may come up. See, solar energy trapped as if in a green leaf, and you trap that one. That's way. So these are things. And again, this dam and hydroelectric power, I don't say electric power. So even in Veda time, the water, this one dam system was there. And Indra has broken that one, so he was abused like that. Even Devas did not want them. Anyway, that's a previous history. So potential energy, use of potential energy for, say, water distribution and other thing, it is there. But our power generation is excellent in that way. So totally eco-friendly, as we wish, as we see, as we perceive. Yes. Which one? No, actually, sir, in anything, there are two sides, at least if it is a coin. But life is not a coin, people say that. So it may have more sides, that's all. That is the difference. Coin has, obviously, maybe two sides and one round side also. But life has got more facets. So in that one, and in that way, it's all preferences. So either you just come to this conclave and miss what is happening in the house, or be with your family members and miss this one. So sometimes you have to opt. But in that way, you have to have, if it is justifiable. See, the soldiers are there, they are killing themselves to protect some others. It's your belief, it's a norm. Your, right? Must be like that, must be like that. But any time, you have to be conscious about this one. Yes, that's it. No, so there is a instruction from the organizer. I have to stop. Okay, thank you very much for hearing and for interacting. Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the presentation. Now, I would like to cordially invite Srimati Chitra MS, Secretary and Registrar, IC